Hello, all my guests and repeat offenders. It is Kismet the Feral Grandma. I'm in line at the free air pressure check at the tire store because, well, tire pressure alert is on my dash. And, it's just something happens when you live in a warm place and then you suddenly have cold. Cold. We spent all of yesterday at below freezing temperatures. And then overnight, it dropped even lower. And we actually got up to 24, so I'm out. Have my window down so I can have some unfiltered time. And the line is moving up again. I will put my phone down for a moment. There we go. The line has moved. But yeah, I'm having some unfiltered time. Gotta get the UV in, right? Gotta get all the blue and the green. And yeah, I'm still legal to drive without my glasses. But I do have them with me. This is just a safely out-of-the-way line to wait in, since I want to have my tire figured. And it's probably just going to be one tire, you know. It might be the one in the back or something. But yeah, I don't think it's quite time for my oil change. We've got our oil changes and rotation worked out to happen at about the same time. So it's not my lack of rotation. It's not time to do that. Sirens out on the service road. Fire truck. And I think I've mentioned before that Williamson County, whether you look at the fact that it's a more affluent county, or the fact that even this affluent county has poorer neighborhoods, they have to roll a fire truck every time they roll an ambulance. So I don't even know if that fire truck that went by on full alert with the lights and sirens is going to a fire. It might be going to assist some healthy young medics to lift somebody who weighs 3 or 4 times what a human being should weigh. This is not an attempt to fat shame anybody. If you're used to eating standard retail diet, Western medicine diet, I like that one because WMD, right? If you're used to eating all the crap that gets pushed on us for the sake of a few companies that want to get as many of your dollars as they can, that's the shape you're going to be in. I like the fact that I am now down to the point that a regular ambulance crew should be able to lift me without assistance. I'm under 200, y'all. I love it. At some point, I need to work out my waist to height ratio because that's the better number to use, but my BMI is far lower than it has been for many years. I feel better. So that means there's a decreased chance of my actually needing to be lifted by an ambulance crew. Except the fact that I do still drive, you know? I could wind up in the grocery store with a broken ankle. Yeah. Oh, somebody hit a grandma trying to use the crosswalk in front of the door and go in to get some food. And the fact is, most of what's in the grocery store that I won't be buying is ultra-processed, ultra-refined food items that will increase your level of inflammation. It will increase your arthritis. It will increase the pain you maybe you have a little pain in your fingers when you get up in the morning. So my retired Bob can talk about that. He shows a hand. He'll make a grasping motion, and it looks like he might be closing his hand on an invisible softball. Y'all know softball's bigger than a baseball. But when he started carnivore, that was as close as he could get to a fist with that hand. And as he has eaten for a less and less inflammation and more health, he can now do that. Yeah, that's still the little bruise I got from the dishwasher door. I tapped a foot under it to push it up, and it swung up so quickly that I didn't quite get that thumb out of the way. It hurt at the time. It doesn't now, but every now and then I see the mark and remember that I did it. Okay, there's another vehicle leaving. They might have been eating over at Arby's, I don't know. Because there's a Wendy's, and there's the Discount Tire in Georgetown, and there's the Arby's over there. I was so happy when they opened the Arby's, because for a long time the only Arby's near us was going north on the service road to a spot that was almost a truck stop. They had diesel and they had room to park trucks. Because sometimes those guys just got to pull off the road and get their hours of not driving, but getting something to eat, getting some sleep. It's a requirement. Don't just hate on trucks. And when I say truck, I don't mean the size I'm driving. I mean the great big tractor trailer units that bring all the goods down to the Walmart for you to buy, and all the almost foods to the grocery store for you to buy. Now, if we make it less profitable for them to buy that stuff by us not buying it, I mean, I don't want any of the grocery stores to go out of business. But I sure don't mind if they decide it's not profitable to buy a particular brand of potato chip fried in seed oils, getting your kids unhealthy at a rate that nobody should even have to contemplate. I think somebody counted vehicles and realized that they could pull around, and they've swung it over their Wendy's. And they might be getting some of that good chili or baked potato or something. And yeah, I don't eat potatoes, but let's face it, there's worse places to get a piece of food. I mean, chili's mostly meat, but it's stirred up with nightshade vegetables, tomatoes, potatoes. Speaking of potatoes, Dave Mack made a recent observation that sometimes he misses McDonald's French fries. Now, McDonald's is all over the world. That's fine. But over the years, he probably got hooked on those French fries when they were made with potatoes and salt, and the salt was applied after they were cooked in beef tallow. It's been a long time since they made them that simply. And there's another one, either going into the burger joint or just getting out of the line and leaving. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You gotta have multiple ways in and out of any parking lot and connected businesses. And the line will move again. Thank God I have such a short vehicle. And some of the ones ahead of me are short, so I don't have to do the extra maneuvering to not be in the way of the intersection. Okay. Yep. Some of us in the central Texas area, around Rock and Georgetown, probably ought to get together at a barbecue place. Now, I know everyone's going to say the Salt Lake South, it's like way down in Austin, is better than the one on 79. Well, yeah, it is. I don't freaking want to drive in Austin if I don't have to. I mean, I got a lifted vehicle, so if I, for some reason, desire to bump over a curb and park where I shouldn't park, I can do that. It's a nice vehicle. And the clear title arrived this week. Yay. It really is mine. Okay. Where else was it going? Oh yeah. There's so many places to eat. My sweetheart was trying to choose a place to take me for my birthday. And he was naming the place and saying, look at the menu. And I'm like, well, that's alright, but I'm not eating like that lately. And I don't need that, and I don't need that. He's like, we can just go to a steakhouse. We go to steakhouse. Well, there's various ones around. But we do that all year without hardly a second thought. So he was trying to think of something different. He knows I like shellfish. So, he was looking at Red Lobster. They do not have as many choices for someone who will just want a steak. It's okay. There are so many options. I mean, I don't want to go to McDonald's. I'm turning 59, not 9. But, that's only a handful of days away. It is bright and sunny. And according to the numbers on my rear view, it is a whole 51 degrees now. That might be because I had the heat on. But, yay. in another month, I'll be 59 for basically a month, almost a month, before our 41st anniversary. Same person all that time, and we haven't killed each other yet. There might be a camping trip in my immediate future. Because one of my favorite book club, gotta call it a book club. I mean, even though I somewhat lost my read, I have always liked to read since I was 7 or 8. I learned how to read. I just kept doing it. But after a while, you get tired of fairy stories, and you get tired of historical dramas, and you get tired of contemporary fiction and all that other stuff. And I started reading what could best be described as post-apocalyptic fantasy and science fiction. Things can get a little weird. I mean, think about every zombie apocalypse movie you've seen. Somebody wrote that. World War Z was pretty good. A lot of people like the Walking Dead stuff. Some people don't like zombies. Now, a lot of the mummy and vampire and werewolf stuff kind of leans that direction a little bit. I'm waiting for someone to write something that started with the genetic code changer that was being forced on so many people recently, to be the reason that people are going to the point of becoming vampires, werewolves. Can you imagine being a werewolf in an established pack, and you have tradition and culture, and then here comes these nobodies. Nobody knows why these others are werewolves. It's like, and this is why. Sad thing is, I'll probably read it when it does come out. I don't know who's gonna write it, but somebody's gonna. Fun stuff. Well, I think it's fun stuff. Alright. They just put another car in a bay. Now they're taking a car out of a bay. And there's still a few in front of me, and I'm just here for probably just one tire has really lost air. There might be a couple pounds down, because I found this out last time when I made the video, when I was putting the air in with that tiny little compressor that takes so long. I'm glad I did it that day, because I like going down the road and not having that wobbly feeling. If it feels like your vehicle is trying to go sideways, you probably ought to check your tire pressure. Which might mean you need to own one of these. And you can get the stick-shaped ones, and the bar slides out according to how many pounds of air pressure there is. At this line, though, they'll say it's 2 pounds down all around, and that one's 4 pounds down. Then I would know that I'll lose air on all of them, and the other one will lose twice as much. But so far, when I've had the low air on a cold day, it has not gotten to the feeling it had when we dropped the air pressure way down for rock crawling, overlanding, whatever you want to call it. When you're going on hills and trails that sane people stay off of, I will admit that. But it's flippin' fun, guys. Man, is it ever. There's another little car probably going over here to Arby's or something. Or they might have dropped off a tire at some point during the day and just need to pick it up. That's the great thing about having a full-size spare. Change it out. Drop off the one that needs a new one on the rim. Or repair or what have you. And then go get it later. But don't do any chancy driving before you pick up the replacement. Because if you change a tire and then drop it off, you don't currently have a spare. I'm going to put this window up now. And put that one down for a few. It is still very cold at 51 degrees, but there's still blossoms on things. Not on the henbit yet. The henbit is one of those theoretically edible things in my yard. I don't know what the oxalate load is in that. But it is something small animals will eat without worrying about it, so it must be okay. There's birds fluttering around everywhere. The sun is bright. And there's dandelions. There's more and more dandelions every day. None of them are making puffballs yet. It's not warm enough for that to happen. But when I leave, I will go out past the burger joint onto the other exit from this little spot. And I will hang them. Actually, I might come out the way I came in. Because that'll put me back on Rivery. And I can just go down the service road until I can turn behind the grocery store and go into the grocery store parking lot. I think that'll work. It is beautiful out today. Give you a view. Bright, bright blue sky. In the intense blue you get in the summertime. Sunshine and shadows. Not a lot of shadow just right here where I'm sitting. Because at this point in the line, it doesn't angle enough for me to get direct sun, but as soon as I head south, I will. And they're waving the next one in. Somebody's finally moving. Yep. And that leaves me at having two cars in front of me. Okay, there are some clouds forming up, I guess, because it just got a little dimmer outside. But it is 4:30. And wintertime sunset comes along after a bit, so yeah, it's cool enough that they're still waving all these free air pressure check folks ahead of me into the bays instead of just doing this out in the open. On a day that you wake up and it had been cold all night, but now it's warm, they'll do it out in the open. Gives them a chance to work somewhere besides in the bays. Yep. Watching somebody bring the trash bins out and dump them in the dumpster. No tires in the dumpster. They have to be recycled. But that's the second or third run I've watched that young man make. It's like, hey, new guy, take trash out. Which trash? All the trash. Dump the trash from the men's room into the trash bag from the can from the ladies' room. And dump all the office trash cans into one bag. And I'm like that, just... That's kind of what life is like when you work at a business. Okay, that one has gone on its merry way. Two in front of me. Looks like clouds are building up to the south and a little bit east. I'm not complaining. If you don't know much about meteorology, it's worth learning what affects the weather around you. On a day that's a little bit warmer than yesterday, yeah, a little bit. It's like almost twice. No, it is currently over twice the temperature it was at parts of yesterday. And for that reason, clouds are a good thing. Clouds form a blanket. The warmth that is coming through comes through the clouds real easily. It's at a wavelength that will come through even on a cloudy day. And then when the sun goes down and we're not getting heated up, the warmth tries to leave back out into space. But you know what? Clouds form a blanket. That blanket covers your area, keeps the heat in. Now this cloudy layer I have noticed behind me, and that's the direction to the grocery store, I don't know if it's going to expand much. Yes, I did wash and brush my hair today. There's the chain with my ring on it. Now, I am back down to where it slides onto my smallest finger very easily. That's not enough. I want it to wear it on my ring finger again. I got a ways to go. That's a very small Y. And there's another one leaving. We are now making the change from having two cars in front of me to being the second in line. And they're not going particularly slowly. It's just that there's so many of us. And from here I can see the northbound service road at the intersection on the other side of the highway. Or, okay, that's the U-turn lane, the ramp for it that goes from the service road around. And it is almost 5 o'clock, so everyone who can has left work early and they're contributing to the traffic, which makes me glad I'm already here. And that I can take a back road over to the grocery store. That's worth it. If I can stay out of the most Charlie Foxtrot intersections, then it reduces the chances of me being in an accident. A thing I do not need. None of us need it. Some people get in them because they haven't learned. Some people get into accidents because they are hit by people who have not learned. It's so dry. I wonder if I should do what some carnivores have been doing. I've got enough beef tallow in the freezer. I mean, I realize the stuff is stabled and solid at room temperature, but I want longer life, right? Well, I can grab a very clean chunk out if I want, soften it, and beat some air into it until I have a nice silky skin balm to use. That might be nice. What I really need, and this is the time of year for it, is a pound or two of the sticky pre-spring growth buds off of a cottonwood tree. Apparently, the plants spoken of biblically, I mean, people have heard of balm of Gilead, right? That was made, I mean, the techniques are the same as what I want to do with cottonwood tree buds, but the tree or shrub or whatever that it came from was used up, killed off, gone extinct, whatever, in the time since biblical days. Old Testament biblical days at that. Or maybe not, maybe just biblical days. But you get something like that, and you steep it in whatever you're willing to come into contact with on your skin. Maybe melt some tallow or whatever. If you want to firm it up, you put a small amount of beeswax, things like that. There are options recreating or almost recreating Balm of Gilead. There we go. I am next in line. Yeah, it does go faster when they're doing it outside. But I can understand these guys. I mean, they probably did start outside this morning, and then they probably moved it into a bay just because they had so many people coming, and they were doing non-stop tire pressure and air. Put some air in this one, put some air in that one, check that tire pressure, that's okay. Have a nice day, whatever. But they're wearing warm hoodies and gloves, and they're probably still cold. I'm hearing sirens again. There's at least 5 more vehicles behind me in line. But yeah, I would, depending, if I wanted the aroma of it, I would pour melted, coconut oil. But that stuff's expensive. But tallow, if I put the buds in melted tallow and bring it up to temperature to just stay kind of melty for a while those buds steep, and then whatever amount of time, just every day melt it down, stir it up, and then when I'm ready, strain out all the buds, and they will have gone from sticky to, what the heck, why are you doing this again? What a greasy mess, etc. And then you whip it until you have a beef tallow balm. And it's supposed to be one of the most wonderful things you can do for your skin. It's a first aid ointment, basically, from over 2,000 years ago. And it's almost my turn, so it's time to get off of here. I'm still your feral grandma. I still love you and want you to be okay. And if it's so cold that you don't want to do your own air pressure check and fill, go someplace that does. And if you're in Central Texas, that includes discount tire stores. Because let's face it, there's not a lot of full service stations anymore. If you can find one at all. And that's sad because Full-service stations gave people a chance to learn customer service at a level that it should be learned. Okay, the cloud cover is extending. It is overhead now. And it's time for me to get off my phone. So, I still love you, my visitors and my repeat offenders. And it is slowly going to be warming up here, and it will be warming up in a few other places too. So take care. Drive safe on properly inflated tires. Bye-bye.